Good evening, you guys. And today is February the 20th, 2024. And today I'm on day 7, The King with Feet of Clay. First Samuel. God often surprises us with his choices. Those who oppose the Lord will be shattered. He will thunder against them from heaven. The Lord will judge the end of the earth. He will give strength to his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. First Samuel 2 and 10. Things was not going as smoothly with the Israelites in the promised land as one would expect. Just as the special leaders that the Lord appointed to help his people out of their troubles, the judges, had finished their work, the Israelites were up to their old tricks again, doing whatever they wanted. This, of course, was the ideal recipe for sin and disaster. It was clear that things could not continue like this. Things, something had to be done. God's plan started in First Samuel, with God helping a childless woman to bear a son. His name was Samuel, and he was a very special boy. He grew up to become a famous priest and prophet who led God's people through difficult times. God himself guided his people by using this special prophet. However, even this did not satisfy the Israelites. They wanted a king on a throne like other nations, one whom they could see and talk to and rally behind when enemies tried to attack them. The people continued whining for a king. And eventually, God ordered Samuel to appoint such a king for Israel. At last, Israel had their first king. His name was Saul. Of course, new brooms swept clean, and Saul was no exception. Everything went smoothly. Saul proved to be a good king and an even better soldier. Saul shared. Saul started to show weakness. He had problems obeying the Lord. Power corrupts, and this prevailed to be true in Saul's case. In his eyes, God gradually became smaller, while Saul the king became bigger. And the bigger Saul became, the less space was left for God. God tried to warn Saul, but without such success. The consequences on this were very serious. Eventually, God was forced to do exactly what Saul had done to him. God turned his back on Saul. Again, God's prophet Samuel had a message for Saul. This time, it was not that he would be king, but this time, as king, had to run out. Somebody else would soon sit on the throne. The choice had already been made. The new king would be David, the youngest son of Jesse. David did not immediately take Saul's place. However, things were being developed. David started to work at the court as a player of the lyre, a type of harp. His task was to calm the God-forsaken and overstressed King Saul with the soothing sound of his music. His talent, leadership, and courage soon gave him great fame among the people. The whole of Israel cheered him when he furiously struck down the giant warrior Goliath with a single stone from a slingshot. The people loved David, not only for his courage and bravery, but also for his charming ways. So God slowly prepared him to be king and ruler over the people. Everybody was greatly impressed by David, except King Saul. He started to feel threatened, and not without reason. He wanted to get rid of the new shining star. Suddenly, David was not welcome at the court anymore and had to flee for his life because Saul wanted him dead. But David was not like Saul. Saul was full of hate and bitterness. David was not. David actually saved Saul's life several times, demonstrating the integrity of his character. The, this only made Saul even more despite to such an extent that he finally turned his back on God for good and consulted a medium. A medium and not God became his refuge. From this on, things just got worse. Saul died shortly afterwards in a battle against the Philistines. His army was overpowered, and at the sight of his soldiers running for their lives, he took his own life. This is how the story of the first king of Israel came to an end. It is the story of king with feet of clay. That ends chapter 7. You guys don't get too high on the horse. Always remember the Lord. Put him first, because remember, it wasn't you. It was him. So give him all the glory and all the honor. And have a great evening.